Welcome back, drawing buddies. This week we're going to draw the Fairly Odd Parents from pencils to inks to colors. So if that sounds like a cool way to spend 13 minutes or so, then let's draw. The Fairly Odd Parents, I watched it in the early 2000s with my kid growing up, and it was kind of fun. And a lot of these quicker videos, which I was calling quick draws, and then I put the let's draw, so I don't know. There'll be one or the other, because I don't know if I'm going to continue with the 2 videos a week, because they seem to be cannibalizing each other in not a good way. So, you know, you just might get some shorter videos and some longer videos. But the Fairly Odd Parents was one of my son's favorite cartoons growing up, and I used to watch it with him on Nickelodeon all the time. So I figured, hey, why not draw the Fairly Odd Parents as one of quick draws? Because how hard could it be? Turns out it was 13 minutes hard. And I was asking my son, like, geez, I haven't watched Fairly Odd Parents forever. I don't remember anything except, you know, Timmy's name and Wanda and Cosmo. And he's like, you just need to watch the theme song. It's all in there. Timmy was an average kid that no one understands. Blah, 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 and Vicky always giving him commands. Sorry, I went on a singing tangent. How about that? But yeah, so I sat down while I was putting some packages together. I had to bring to the post office because I still do that. And I watched a bunch of episodes of the Fairly Odd Parents, and it's actually really cool. So I have something to talk about. And for some reason, I drew like 4 bodies for Timmy Turner, and I don't know why. Because like this one was super cool, and I should have kept it. And I just ended up with him standing there kind of pose. So, you know, I still haven't learned to trust myself as far as, you know, the quality of the early sketches and those parts of the drawing. So eventually I will, hopefully. And so I watched, I started from the beginning of the Fairly Odd Parents, and the first episode, Timmy, you know, he's just your average kid. He's a little awkward, a little geeky, and he, you know, has a couple geeky friends, and they're good friends though, and it's always good to have good friends. Trust me, I've learned that one in life. And he has fairy godparents because I don't know, whatever reason you get fairy godparents in that world, I don't know, but Timmy got them. And the wish he makes in that first episode is that he wants to be an adult. So Wanda and Cosmo make Timmy an adult. And he's just a big old chubby fat stereotype of an adult. You know, he's balding. He looks like, you know, your average uncle from the 90s. And it's pretty darn hilarious. But the problem is Timmy can't wish himself back to a kid when everything he wanted to do as an adult goes wrong, because the Fairly Odd Parents, the fairy godparents, can't grant wishes to an adult. And he's on the verge of losing them, and they find a loophole where if he acts like a kid, he can you know, make a wish, and basically breaks down crying that he wants his mom and dad and that being an adult sucks, which is absolutely true. And so that brings his kidometer up high enough that he can make a wish, and he becomes young Timmy again. So see that, kids? Wishing to be an adult? Bad idea. Stay a kid as long as possible. I know I'm trying, or tried. So it's sort of working out. Guess we'll find out. And then there's another one where he wishes he had like this super hard video game kind of thing. And when you put on a helmet, you get sucked into this video game. But if you get unalived in the game, you get unalived in real life. And you can't wish yourself out of it, because that's one of the parameters that he gave the Odd Parents, because, you know, he gives them these vague instructions. And then they're like, that's so vague, it might actually work. And then, you know, you kind of got the whole monkey's paw thing. Be careful what you wish for. And that's most of the point of the Fairly Odd Parents, you know. He wishes to go back in time. So his father never wins a trophy because he broke it, instead of just wishing he fixed the trophy or something. And so his dad's not mad at him anymore. But when he does that, his dad never meets his mom. He becomes an evil dictator who takes over the world in the name of happiness. And it all goes awry, and then another version of Wanda and Cosmo have to help him out because the other ones disappeared, because Timmy was never born, so he never had Fairly Odd Parents. So that's a big part of the whole Fairly Odd Parents thing, is the monkey paw, careful what you wish for thing. Then there's the Crimson Chin episode, Timmy's favorite superhero is called the Crimson Chin. He just wears a red jumpsuit, has a giant chin, and he uses his chin powers to do superhero stuff. I guess he was just a normal talk show host, and he got bitten on the chin by a radioactive actor, and it made his chin grow really big and gave him chin superpowers. So yeah, that's pretty weird. I wonder if that's like a Jay Leno commentary or not, because he was kind of big back at the time when the Fairly Odd Parents popped up, and it was shortly after the whole late night wars thing between Jay Leno and Dave Letterman. So I could be reading too deep into this, I don't know. But he wishes the Crimson Chin was real, and the Crimson Chin finds out that he's just a comic book character and isn't real. So he basically falls into a deep depression and doesn't want to do anything. So his comic is on the verge of being canceled, and he's basically just sitting there in fetal position, sucking his thumb because he doesn't know what to do because he doesn't exist. His world isn't real. He's just a comic written by a guy in his mom's basement. So they still had that trope going on back then, that to be a successful comic person, you had to live in your mom's basement and you had no friends. But it was still a fun little story. At the end, Timmy becomes the Chin's sidekick and snaps him out of it. And says, just because you're not real in my world doesn't mean you're not real. Oh, the pencils are done. It's time to ink Timmy Turner and the Fairly Odd Parents. I noticed in the past couple of videos I've been going, oh, the inks are done. Or, oh, the colors are done. So, another trope to add to the FM3 Draws drinking game. The pencils took the longest on this one because I had to figure out where to put everybody. Because my slacker butt has been drawing single characters so much that grouping people together is foreign to me at the moment. But the inking went fairly quick, even though my enemy, the not turning on the image stabilization, haunted me. And they just updated Clip Studio with a feature that Procreate and other programs had forever, is where if you draw the swirl of Wanda's hair and you hold the pen down, it'll actually make it a nice clean circular swirl. That would have been a nice feature to have when I did this one. But I got through it, and I think it's pretty darn awesome. And I like the fact that Timmy's telling them to fight, because, I don't know if he did that in the cartoon, because I didn't watch enough episodes, and I don't remember from back in the day. But it seems like a Timmy Turner thing to do. Like he'd have them fight for some reason, and then he'd learn a lesson on why it's bad and all that other fun stuff. But yeah, the inking goes quick. The coloring goes super quick because there's not much to it. The colors are simple and the shading is simple and the background is simple. But that's why it works, because this style is super cool. In fact, I almost want to draw Danny Phantom now because I'm pretty sure it's the same guy and production company that did the Fairly Odd Parents, because man, they look exactly the same as far as the character drawings go. So if Danny Phantom was done by the Fairly Odd Parents guy, let me know in the comments, because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it is. And it's kind of funny that this video is Fairly Odd Parents, because I'm talking to an old friend of mine from my high school days, and she lives across the country now. And many years ago, she told me that I should draw fairies. And I laughed. I'm like, I don't want to draw fairies. These fairies are dumb. And but then after I talked to her, and I was thinking about fairies, I'm like, what would make fairies cool to me? So then I thought of this whole backstory for a whole group of fairies and where they would live and how big they are and what their society was like. And I actually drew 19 fairies. And I'm actually messaging that same person back and forth right now because we were talking about a concert. And the fairies came up while I'm recording this video. So I might draw some more fairies, because the original goal with the fairies was to draw a bunch of fairies and then put them all in an art book. But on the opposite page of each fairy would be a little blurb about that fairy and their role in fairy society and all that other stuff. And the book would be called I Draw Fairies. And I have a interesting take on where the fairies live and how they live. At least I think it is. I don't follow fairy literature and stuff. But from my friend who's very into fairies, she seems to think that nobody's done it before. So who knows? Maybe I'll start posting some fairy videos and talking about fairy lore and getting that book ready, because if I'm going to draw them, I might as well record them and make a video, right? And then each video I could talk about that fairy and their place in society. So let me know if that's something that you would all like to see. And I totally glossed over the fact that we are now coloring Timmy Turner and Wanda and Cosmo. That's how fast these videos are going. I got all their flat colors in, and I didn't go, oh, it's time to color Timmy Turner. I am failing hard on this 13-minute video. But come on, isn't he cute, Timmy? His big old eyes and his little teeth. I love him. Glad I decided to draw these guys. That they were a lot of fun. Yeah, so let's see. We did Invader Zim. We did the Fairly Odd Parents. We're going right through the whole Nickelodeon thing. I think I want to draw another Calvin and Hobbes one. I think I'm going to do Stupendous Man. That's going to come up soon. I just did a Miles Morales Spider-Man as a companion for the Spider-Gwen I did a month or two ago. They're in the same style of background and everything. And I'm going to do a Peter Parker probably in a month, and a Venom. And they're all going to line up, and those are mostly for doing those for posters for the grandbaby's room, because she loves the Gwen one. And we gave her some Spider-Gwen plushies today, and she just was hugging them and playing with them all day. Cutest thing ever. So yeah, so Miles Morales is coming up. The Rocketeer, that's coming up. I drew that one already. I started to draw either Black Widow or Wonder Woman today. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. I did Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's going to be pretty darn cool. I drew him already. There's nothing fancy about the drawing. He's just standing there with his head on fire because he's Ghost Rider. You don't really need to do more than that. So yeah, we got a nice slate coming up. It's going to be some fun, some serious, some comics, some cartoon. And maybe some fairies starting sometime this summer. Who the heck knows? But one thing at a time. But the Fairly Odd Parents got me thinking about fairies again, so I think that might actually happen. And as for Wanda and Cosmo and Timmy here, the original idea was just to leave this background as the blue gradient. But I'm like, that's lame and boring. So I went back in my stash and pulled out one of my brush strokes and threw it behind them. Can't believe how fast these videos go. When you're doing a video that's under 15 minutes, it's over before you get most of your thoughts out. It's kind of crazy. I got another question for you people. Anybody who watched this far, other than what I've drawn already, Timmy Turner, Invader Zim, are there any other early 2000s, 90s current cartoons you would all like to see? Because I don't know what people actually like. I just draw what I know. So if you have any ideas, let me know, and I will do my best to squeeze them in, especially these cartoon ones, because I could bang these out quick. And here we go. We're adding the final little bit of shading on because they were looking a little flat to me. And the Fairly Odd Parents are done. So again, thank you all for stopping by, watching the video, like, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff. And go out and draw something. Doesn't matter if it's a comic book, it's Timmy Turner, or a portrait of your grandmother. As long as you're having fun doing it. So see you all next week.